Dad, I've actually found learning at home has been better than I thought, and I feel I'm much farther ahead than many of my friends.
Visit laurelsprings.com to learn more about a unique way of getting your child the personalized education they need. For 30 years, Laurel Springs School has been engaging global learners in grades kindergarten through 12th grade and integrating their passions and pursuits. Laurel Springs School. We build an education around you.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, Ola, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
This is the Men's Room.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The Trippers, the Grasshoppers, the Hip Ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
So let's start standing by. We'll take caller 9 now at 844-999. Ola, and you'll play Profile This coming up in minutes. But first, Mom, and we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast a woman identified only as Miley from somewhere in Vancouver, Washington. Now, Miley, like the rest of us around the world, she's doing her part to cope with the so-called new normal, which is the coronavirus. And like most of us, she's starting with the simple stuff, like washing your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds. And in case you're a new visitor to planet Earth, washing your hands for at least 20 seconds, one of the simplest things anyone can do to help slow the spread of COVID-19, all right? So there's even a list of songs that you can sing to yourself to time it out, like the happy birthday song, not our happy birthday, but the actual happy birthday song.
We did an entire sit and spin when Ryan Castle came in last time of all the different hooks and songs that you can sing for 20 seconds to get you through that time.
Yeah, the chorus from Toto's Africa, right? That's a popular one. And then our very own Robin, she figured out Yuck Mouth. Now, a lot of people don't know Yuck Mouth. It was a PSA from the 1980s. Robin, if you could please keep in mind.
This is to encourage kids to brush their teeth.
That is correct.
And have good dental hygiene, floss, and all those things, so your teeth don't rot.
And I was a kid when this came out. This song has stuck with me. I sing it often, but Robin pointed out, man, this is 20 seconds. So if you don't know Yuck Mouth, here it is.
They call me Yuck Mouth, cause I don't brush. Oh, I like my teeth like this. They call me Yuck Mouth. No, I won't brush. How's about a little kiss? I got roast beef in my teeth, got some chicken too. Ouch! That's a cavity. Hey, that's new. Well, if you don't brush your teeth, then get you too. Get me a Yuck Mouth.
That's what I'm talking about. Beef in his teeth and some chicken too.
He went to a buffet.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just an example of one of the songs you can sing to yourself while you wash your hands. And our friend Miley, that's exactly what she did. But the one thing she noticed is that for days doing this, she could not figure out why her normally foamy bar of soap wasn't foamy. Eventually, she figured it out. It turns out that Miley hadn't been washing her hands with soap. She'd been washing her hands with a dried-out chunk of Tillamook sharp cheddar cheese.
They have great cheese.
The explanation she gives.
They have wonderful cheese.
She admitted
ice cream too.
That when all the stuff came down and you were asked to self-quarantine or whatever, she got tipsy at home. Like drinking wine, whatever. And I get it, man. You're home, it's the first night. So she remembers getting what she calls a late night drunk snack. She believes cheese was part of it anyway. The next day she wakes up and it's sitting on her sink where she keeps her soap normally and believed it to be her soap. But she washed her hands with Tillamook sharp cheddar cheese for days. For days, everybody. And keep in mind, this is the time where you wash your hands a lot. So she couldn't figure out why it didn't soap up. And it's because it was cheese, Miles.
That explains a lot.
It really does.
Oh, by the way, if you're ever in Tillamook, take a visit to the factory down there. They'll give you cheese samples. It's great.
It is a very good
ice
cheese.
cream. It's awesome.
I will be dead honest. And if you work at Tillamook, I'm going to give you this one knock. And I mean, you make a terrible soup. But we drink to Miley. We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
Oh, it sounds so hollow. It's just you. So over the tongue
Thanks.
and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bijola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Steve, throw a hook. Can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Cole. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, hola.
Hola.
Cole, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Are you working through all this?
Yeah, I work for Kroger, so we're staying pretty busy.
How crazy is it in the grocery store?
Nonstop.
What is we know that toilet paper is one of those items that you're continually having to stock for obvious reasons. What are some of the other things that you're noticing that you probably didn't even think of that are flying out there?
Things like rice, beans, pastas.
So a lot of staple foods. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, just prepared to hunker down and boil beans for the rest of their life.
How about beer?
You know, I'm surprised, because I'm keeping my eye on that, too. When the rush goes, I'm going to be right there getting a bunch of whiskey and beer.
You should look at my refrigerator.
You said you're working at Kroger, Cole?
Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor. You tell them that the Men's Room said that you can take 20% off of all the 15-pack cans and 6-pack cans of Men's Room Original Red. I'm sure that'll fly with the management.
Oh, yeah, it's done. Consider it done.
We're trying to do what we can here for the people.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah, right. Kroger will fly with that, right? Oh, what'd they say?
Yeah.
They said what? Who the hell are these guys?
Why the hell do we have their beer?
Exactly.
Who the hell allowed this?
Right, exactly.
All right. Cole, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
All right. Well, like everyone, I'm going to offer you one of 3 stories for you to choose from. Now, one of these stories has to deal with the drug. You will listen to the story. You will determine what you believe their activity to be, and then try to figure out what drug would make someone act like that. The other 2 stories, they deal with race/ethnicity. So based on stereotypes you believe to be true, I'll share the story with you. You guess what race or ethnicity you believe is behind it.
Right on.
What do you want to do there, Cole?
Drugs.
You want to go drugs?
Let's do drugs.
Okay, drugs it is. We know you haven't done any because you work at a fine establishment like Kroger, so I won't get into any of that.
Exactly.
Much like the radio industry, I'm sure they drug test stringently. All right. There would be no industry if they know that. It's like the NBA. Like, look, we don't want to know.
It's like all the transmitters were hit by a plane, like an airplane.
Right.
There's no one working anymore.
All right, here is your story. We go to South Carolina, where a man is facing conspiracy charges after stealing industrial-sized mailboxes, taking the items inside. Jerry Edward Milliken, he was arrested and indicted after a postal inspector investigated the case of missing mailboxes. We're talking the big blue ones. Now, this guy was indicted on charges of conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and receipt of stolen mail. It's a scheme that this guy traveled throughout a couple of different cities in South Carolina just to steal the mailboxes. He'd then drive the mailboxes to a secluded area. He'd bust them open, search for cash, credit cards, gift cards, and checks. He'd use the stolen checks to create counterfeit checks in an attempt to get cash, but he was unsuccessful in doing so this time. But the plan unraveled, they say, when he was arrested and charged with possession of drugs. This is where the drugs play into the story. Now, as he was being arrested for drugs, deputies searched his trunk, and that's when they found a laptop, printer, backpack, all these things that he had stolen out of the mailboxes. When officers searched his home, they found even more mailboxes. They found even more stuff that he stole. Basically, he bails himself out of jail, and within a couple of days, 4 business cluster mailboxes are no stolen. Anyway, long story short, this guy keeps stealing mailboxes, stealing the merchandise inside. He's trying to get money so he can buy drugs. What kind of drugs do you believe this guy is on where this is his plan? Is it heroin, methamphetamine, crack, or spies?
Meth.
You say that absolutely convinced.
What'd you say, crack, Cole?
No, not crack. My mother-in-law, that's her story. She does that. She steals mail. She writes checks, and she goes to jail.
Are you being dead serious, Cole? That's your mother-in-law?
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
So does she just share this with you? Like, yeah, look, man, we steal mail. See if we can get out of it.
Is she in trouble with the law right now?
Not right now. It's a quote past life thing, but yeah.
Okay, past life.
You're not buying this at all.
Yeah. How does your wife deal with that? Is she happy to be?
She's totally normal. Yeah,
And does she have a relationship with your mom?
She's pretty grounded, but yeah, they don't really have the best relationship.
Well, I mean, if my mom is stealing mail and smoking meth, I'm not. Look, I love your mom, but yeah, we're gonna have some issues with that.
Hey, we just got 8 CDs
I know.
from BMI,
yeah, right.
BMG, or whatever the hell that was.
So you're thinking
in the height of her time, she was that lady. She would have the powder on her nose, and people would call her out and be like, "Hey, just wipe your nose." She's like, "Oh, yeah, that's just sugar." Like,
that's just sugar.
Sugar? I would think you're crazy if you snort sugar. I don't care if you snort cocaine.
Sugar. That's the booger sugar.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I'm snorting sugar. What the hell is wrong with you?
Okay, so I have a theory on this one.
All right.
Okay, my theory is he is busting these mailboxes open.
The big ones, yeah.
Which is going to take a little bit of physical strength.
Sure, I'm sure he's got tools. Yeah.
I don't think if you're on heroin, you have the willpower to want to get up and bust into a mailbox. So I'm going to say, but the amount that, as much as he needs to go, and he keeps going back, and even after he bailed himself out, he went back and did it again.
Yes, he did.
So Cole, my guess is going to be crack. It's South Carolina. Crack is typically bigger on the East Coast, especially on the Atlantic seaboard.
Oh, you got that fine Atlantic seaboard crack.
Not that meth is not available everywhere. I get that. But meth is more prevalent in the Midwest states and in the West Coast. So just based on the proximity of this being in South Carolina, my guess is going to be crack.
Everyone from South Carolina is so proud
Cole,
right now.
You're going to go along with your mother-in-law, who you love very much, and you're going to say that meth is your final answer?
I got to stay true to her, yep.
Okay, stay true to the mother-in-law.
I like the loyalty to the method.
Hey, Mama, you got some booger sugar on your nose right there. Check your left back cave and just get that big chunk out of there. All right, we're going to find out if this gentleman was on heroin, meth, crack, or spice next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Mom, I'm a little worried. I don't feel ready to be back at school.
Visit laurelsprings.com to learn more about a unique way of getting your child the personalized education they need. For 30 years, Laurel Springs School has been engaging global learners in grades kindergarten through 12th grade and integrating their passions and pursuits. Laurel Springs School. We build an education around you. Call or go online today.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Okay. In our continuing effort to help the businesses here in the area, send us your business information, by the way, if you're still doing to-go orders or anything like that. If you're in the service industry, the handyman industry, the medical profession, send those emails to the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. We're putting the complete list of all the businesses that are available to offer services
We
right
are
now.
not. Robin is.
She is, and we're thinking about titling it, We're Open Bitches. We're not sure if we got the green light on that or not, but it sounds
Well,
catchy.
we haven't got the red light.
Yeah, exactly.
We got the red light.
Bitches, we're open.
Red light. All right.
Go.
Hey, the light's yellow.
Yeah. A couple extras here. Ben Paris at the corner of First and Pike downtown is offering to-go meals during the COVID-19 closure. Thanks, guys. That from Steven. IGSM Wireless, family-owned and operated electronic repair shop in downtown Bellevue. They are open. They have been operating for 15 years. Look, if you're freaked out, they will pick up your computer, whatever you need to be worked on, work on your delivery services of your devices within 10 miles of the location, and basically take care of your stuff there. So that's
this would be the time.
IGSM IGSM Wireless, because you're going to need that. I love you guys. Love the show. Could you please give a shout out to Campero's Restaurant in Brewster, Washington? They are open till 9 doing takeout orders for our friends at Rock 105 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Good news. Aquatic Aesthetics is still open for all your aquatic aesthetics and tropical fish store needs. A mom and pop operation. They have no intent on closing for the time being. Get real high in Chattanooga. Get yourself a fish tank. It's hours of entertainment. I promise you that.
But also, if you're running out of food, you have swimming hors d'oeuvres.
And one more from Rock 105 in Chattanooga. Please encourage folks to use DoorDash and Grubhub. Feel free to share my promo code, Just Dash It, for $5 off a first delivery. Love the show. Thanks for the hours of laughs. That from Marty, Rock 105 Chattanooga listener. There you go. All right, as we continue on with the program. And a little profile this. When last we left you, there was a South Carolina man who stole industrial-sized mailboxes for a living.
Yeah.
The big blue ones. Went on to steal like some business mailboxes as well. But he'd bust them open, steal the mail, do what you do when you steal mail with it. But while being arrested for drugs, they found all the mail in his trunk. Subsequently, they went to his apartment. He had all the mail there and all this stuff, and he was busted. But the question on this, not necessarily race involved, but drug involved. So what was the drug that he was busted with that made him do this crazy mail spree?
And Cole, that is the question we asked you, and the options were heroin, meth, crack, or spice. Now, if you weren't listening earlier, Cole, you answered meth before I got to meth. I said heroin, you said meth, and you explained that your mother-in-law it is. You said she does basically the exact same thing, steals the mail, gets the money, and buys meth.
Come on, meth.
Come on, meth.
Come on, meth. Come on, mother-in-law.
Find out whether or not your mother-in-law is telling you the truth. Meth heads. Oh! You are correct.
Know your meth addict relative.
Thanks to your mother-in-law. You got the answer right and won nothing.
Wow, how about that?
But you still have a mother-in-law and meth.
Mm-hmm. Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, Armageddon. The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Oh, Mike Hawk here. Hello, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How are you guys doing today?
What's happening, man?
I'm doing good.
So you're still wearing your black rubber gloves and ready to rock?
That's right, man. I am sterile in here.
Do you sweat in those things?
Very much.
Yeah, I am
how
sterile.
much sweat? Like,
does your fiance know this about you?
When you take off the glove, not to Spinal Tap you, but do you smell the glove when you're done?
Not by choice.
Okay, because it looks like it's going to rain.
Oh,
you can see the moisture on the outside building up on those
man.
It smells that bad?
Again, the last time that I had this look is at my last job when I was detailing cars, and I don't miss this look whatsoever.
You shouldn't.
I wore those gloves.
Why, Steve?
You look like a ventriloquist puppet.
Man, the sweat that would develop on the inside of these things would build up right there in between my knuckles, and it would just like pocket and pool with a bunch of gunk in there. So I'm not looking forward to this.
The
But
gunk
you know what?
from knuckle sweat. That sounds like a Lord of the Rings. I am gunk from knuckle sweat.
Don't you worry, Mike. We're going to record a Greatest Story Never Told podcast after this. You get to wear those gloves for at least an hour longer. Isn't that fun?
I'm just
because we're not going to tolerate you without them on.
Correct. Don't blame you.
That's it.
I do have another update from Ted. Again, he has been out of the office here for quite a few days now. He's been feeling under the weather. He is feeling a little bit better. I did get that he's a little bit better, still feel a little bit off, not as tired, but still he has a bit of a cough and a headache, so he's getting better, but still we're forcing him to stay home because
the doctor told his ass to.
He's nasty. We don't want him to come in here. But
you're nasty.
Being that he does run the TV segment, he's obviously watching plenty of TV right now, so I asked if he has any new suggestions for those that are locked up in public right now. He says that he's been on Locked Up Abroad on Nat Geo.
But he misunderstood what it is. He thought it was about a woman abroad. He was disappointed when it ended up being a jail show.
Wait a minute.
I will say this. I don't actively seek that show out. But anytime I catch it on, I end up getting fascinated.
What's the, do you know, what's the premise of it, then?
You went to jail in a foreign country. 99% of the time, well, okay, 99% of the time, it's drug related. You get busted with drugs at the airport. 50% of that 99% of the time, you knew about it. Some people don't, some people do, but either way, you get busted. So you could be in Thailand, no one's speaking English, but you're in prison, they're still going to beat the piss out of you. I mean, it's crazy, man. But they're telling you these stories, and there's reenactors, and they're like, okay, mental note, Don't get caught.
Thank God I can't travel now, I guess is what you say after you watch this.
Right. I've never seen it, but it sounds fascinating.
It's unbelievable.
He does throw in the comment that when selling hash in India, it's very hot and humid. So,
I bet that's that nice tan blonde Moroccan hash.
Locked up abroad is what Ted's going for. As far as updates go, one that broke in the news as far as being positive for coronavirus that kind of really worried everybody and really kind of brought it down home was Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks came down with it not terribly long ago, about a week ago at this point. He's down in Australia with his wife.
Somebody said he got it from Jenny.
Mm-hmm. And his wife actually gave it to a reporter who did an interview with Rita.
Good.
So,
Lord.
yeah.
There we go. So they've been quarantined down there. He did just put an update up on his Twitter. He says, hey, folks, good news. 1 week after testing positive in self-isolation, the symptoms are much the same. No fever, but he calls it the blahs. Folding the laundry and doing the dishes leads to a nap on the couch. Bad news, my wife has won 6 straight hands of gin rummy and leads by 201 points. But I have learned not to spread my Vegemite so thick. I traveled here with a typewriter, one I used to love. We were all in this together, flatten the curve. Hanks.
That's very cool. I'm glad he's doing good.
He's doing better, so that's a good thing. Somebody else that I didn't even know was actually kind of in trouble there was Al Roker. So apparently he's with the Today Show. He does not the Today Show. He's with Today, and he does the weather. But apparently one of the employees there tested positive for coronavirus, and he was near the vicinity. So he said, you know what? I'm going to quarantine myself. I'm going to go home. However, that didn't stop him. So he's going about the news just a little bit differently. He's doing it from his kitchen.
Actually, I didn't have to commute in, so I did sleep in the kitchen. Want to make sure there are no NBC News crews here. Yeah. This is my iPad, and we've got a crew. Catherine Proceeds in our weather center. Don Sunikis is in his home, and so we've kind of jerry-rigged this system, and I've got all my graphics and everything I need. So we're starting off with some severe weather, starting this afternoon for a good portion of Texas. We're going to be watching that.
Jerry-rigged. Who's Jerry, and what did he do to get that on?
It's Al Roker. He's going Jerry.
Was he
like
the worst electrician ever?
I keep waiting for Al Roker to say, "I'm sorry, my robe fell open."
I want to know the basis from this one because we've all heard of different things that are rigged before, and depending on.
But it's Al Roker.
That's the problem. Exactly. Is that I tried to find it for Big Dummy one time, but that's all I could find is where it actually kind of originated from.
But is he the same guy that invented the curl? The Jerry Rig invented the Jerry Curl.
Oh,
Multi-talented Jerry.
I can take care of that electronically.
I tell you what, brother, I can make a head smell like a coconut and turn an afro into a perm.
And put that light bulb in for you.
And then I'll kind of F up your electric.
Jerry.
Moving on to the world of sports here. The Washington Post has done everybody a favor. I know that everybody was a little bit heartbroken here that March Madness did get canceled.
Sure.
We never got to figure out who exactly would have won this big tournament. So the Washington Post took it upon themselves to simulate March Madness to determine a champ.
We had our old reporters play pickup basketball in the parking lot. Let me guess. They simulated on a video game.
Hang on here. Dang it, I didn't highlight it. I knew what the answer was.
Why didn't you use a highlighter, man? That's why they had it.
I was doing.
It's even called a highlighter. I mean, it's right there in the name.
Ah, dang it, I can't find it on here. I'm sorry. I doinked this up, something fierce.
Really, man, you set us up for this. So we're going to have the imaginary NCAA championship game. This who probably would have won, and you got nothing.
I got nothing.
Man.
I usually do this. Hang on.
I mean, at least they just canceled the thing in advance. Mm-hmm. You try to whittle us all the way down to the freaking winter.
I did. I tried to set that up.
You're a bigger buzzkill than COVID. I want you to think about that. That's saying something.
I got nothing. I'm still looking for it. I can't find it. Screw it.
It doesn't matter because it's not real.
Either I want to know.
It's a simulation.
No.
Right, exactly.
Let him off the hook, man.
No one cares. I mean, seriously.
I want to know. This is why I don't have to sit through the whole tournament. Mm-hmm. I just want to know.
Well, you wouldn't have to sit through the tournament. They were just going to give you the results.
That's exactly it.
Ohio State was determined to be the champion.
There it is.
There you go.
Thanks.
Yay,
Ohio State. All that for nothing.
Right.
And if I'd have just highlighted the dadgum answer, it would have been cooler.
Hey, man, I'm sorry, man. You're still a Buckeye.
Yeah, that didn't.
I mean, that doesn't sound good.
No?
Right in the Buckeye? Let's say,
right.
Man, if you
what body part do you
see
picture?
this finger, you know where? Buckeye.
Moving on.
And I don't see a deer standing nearby.
Right.
Big news that hit as far as sports goes is obviously Tom Brady's departure from New England. If you're wondering, if you didn't hear yesterday, he is actually now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lead that team to victory. So, of course, this...
Man, Jameis Winston got LASIK and everything. Remember that? 3 months ago, that was like a headline that I thought was like an Onion story.
So apparently, Bill Belichick has come out and he's talked about it. He says he's the player who bought into our program. He's one of its original creators. He says nothing about the end of Tom's Patriot career changes how unfathomably spectacular he is.
Sure.
Robert Kraft came out there and said if Tom wanted to remain a Patriot, he would have had a deal. He's basically saying like we didn't want this guy to leave. I'd hoped that this day would never come, but rather that Tom would end his remarkable career in a Patriots uniform.
He'll retire a Patriot
after yet another Super Bowl champion.
Sure. I mean, like, you know what he could do? The biggest actor to Boston would be like, I retire a Buccaneer.
He's probably going to retire the greatest football player that ever played.
Very likely.
Yes.
Yeah. How many times have we seen it? I know.
And if he can do this in Tampa, much like
what?
Peyton Manning did when he went to Denver, to prove that, man, if he goes someplace.
Denver had a good team.
Yeah, I know that, but
they were just missing a quarterback.
Well, another thing that they gave Tom Brady, a lot of people, they basically gave him control of a lot of the roster. So as far as the offense is concerned, and that's one of the things that he actually, they would go to him in New England and say, hey, Tom, obviously, what do you need? You need this, whatever. Like, they're still going to go get an offensive lineman. They're still going to do what they do. They basically have proven that you don't need that one running back. You can shuffle in like 9 million
So he's
players.
going to be the general manager quarterback?
Basically, it's like this. Who do you want to throw the ball to?
Pretty much.
That's the only thing he's answering. Who do you want to throw the ball to? That's it.
How long before Julian Edelman gets over onto the Tampa Bay Bucs?
Who do you want to throw the ball to, Tom?
Exactly.
That's all they're asking. That's all they're asking. You know what I mean? That's not a bad trade.
So
T.O.'s calling him.
Yeah. So one thing that I got a lot of flack for when I took over for TV Time one time was the bracket that I put up there a little while back. I tried to find the greatest sitcom as per the men's room here, and I was absolutely scared alive. However, I do still love a good bracket, so there is actually a bracket to determine the worst movie ever made.
Okay.
The worst movie. So a website has put together a March Madness-style bracket to determine the worst movie ever made, but unfortunately they didn't go all the way and start with a field of 64 movies.
Okay, are these movies that we know that were popular at one point in time, or are they like when you go to Rotten Tomatoes and it's like an indie flick, or are these movies that were with stars like G. Lee and that type of flick?
Yeah, well, in and out, yeah. So there are some that are a little bit more obscure, but you've heard of most of these movies. There's only 16 of them. They do the 8 classics and 8 modern movies. So your 8 classics are going to be Plan 9 from Outer Space, which I haven't heard that one. Jaws: The Revenge.
Come on, yeah. I mean, listen, generally speaking, in the course of a movie franchise, if they make multiple movies, if you hear the movie title followed by the words The Revenge, it's going to suck.
That's fair.
Right? I'm pretty sure before Jaws 3D, wasn't the original title supposed to be Jaws 3, People Nothing?
Yes. No, Jaws 2.
Really?
Jaws 2. So Jaws was enormously popular, and originally National Lampoon, they pitched an idea. This would be a spoof, but they pitched an idea, and it was called Jaws 2, People Nothing. And I thought that was brilliant.
It was great. Ballistic X versus Sever?
Yeah.
I screwed that one up. Yeah. Batman and Robin.
All right.
That's the one with George Clooney.
Oh, Nipples.
Nipples.
Nipples McGillicuddy.
Who is Robin again?
Chris O'Donnell?
That sounds right.
Is
yes.
that right?
Yes.
I couldn't remember that.
Troll 2.
Come on.
If I'm not mistaken.
Because Troll 1 was fine. You know what I mean? Like, that gets the pass.
If I'm not mistaken, Troll 2 is home to probably the worst bit of acting that I have ever seen. I should have grabbed the audio. I didn't read through this fast enough. I'm sorry, I was a little bit behind today, but it is. I can see why this one contends with it, if it's what I think it is. Mm-hmm. Reefer Madness is on there. We're still going through the 8 classics. Again, this is the bracket to determine the worst movie ever made. Wild Wild West.
Will Smith edition.
And Battlefield Earth.
Oh. That movie, I almost want to see it because I've heard that movie is so incredibly bad. Like, you can't believe someone honestly thought it might be good.
And John Travolta jumped right onto it.
Mm-hmm.
The 8 modern bad movies are going to be The Room, which I feel like I've heard it, but it's so vague I don't
Sounds like
remember
some
what it
crappy
is.
horror movie.
The classic from Sci-Fi, I believe it is, Sharknado.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can't trash Sharknado.
Really?
Yes,
yeah,
you
you can.
Yes,
Miles.
you can.
It was horrible.
No, you can't.
It was awful.
Ian Ziering? Are you kidding me?
Sold.
How beefy. Tara Reid? Come on. I mean, what are you looking for?
There's better Tara Reid.
I mean,
moving on.
It's right there.
Sorry, it has earned its spot here in the worst movie
How
ever
could you
made.
watch this with an expectation?
Right.
Birdemic.
I don't know.
That's got to be some sort of a rip off of Alfred Hitchcock, right?
You know it. It's in the name.
Or like a chicken disease or something.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes, that's much more exciting.
Well, that would be terrible if we couldn't eat chickens.
Zombie chickens.
Yeah.
There is a movie called Zombievers. That's true.
It's like the
Zombievers. That's a real movie, and it's not a porn.
Catwoman is on there. I believe that is the Halle Berry Catwoman.
Yeah, where she got the Razzie.
She still looked good.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she did. Cats, of course, has to be on there. Jack and Jill, that god-awful Adam Sandler movie that I never watched, but I will still say it's god-awful because...
How do you know it's god-awful if you haven't watched it? Same way I know Battlefield Earth sucks.
If it fits to what that trailer was, it's going to be an absolutely god-awful movie.
That means it made a ton of money for Adam Sandler.
It probably did.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Adam Sandler, for a while there, seemed to do like a really good... Honestly, it was a great movie, and then he did this trash pile of a movie that he called a comedy, and then he did another really, really good movie that was good and honestly
funny.
funny.
Old enough where every movie he put out was a steaming pile of comedy trash, all right? It's maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, but no one would argue that it was good, per se.
Right.
Kind of like Sharknado. Then he started doing dramatic
There's a
stuff.
reason there's no comedy nominations in the Oscars.
That's fair.
They don't even consider it art in the first place as
Which
far as
is
cinema
ridiculous.
goes.
Again, this is the bracket to determine the worst movie ever made. We're going with the 8 modern bad movies right now. We have The Happening. If I'm not mistaken, that was the first R-rated M. Night Shyamalan movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah, Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Nowhere. Even the twist was awful. It made no sense.
It was stupid.
As long as you're happy, the plants don't kill you or something like that. I don't know. It was that weird.
That's right. That's
you
what
think
you
I'm kidding. That's what it was.
You waited an entire movie to
That's
find
scary.
out that bit of advice.
That's right. And the final movie on the bracket to determine the worst movie ever made, Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Okay.
Not
There
shocked.
you go. So then we will find that out eventually.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
I'm sparkly.
I'm bubbly.
And together, we're Mineragua.
The fresh, sparkling water for those who are bubbling over with life
And crave new experiences.
Are you thirsty for adventure, more laughs, and more excitement?
With Mineragua in hand, it's easy to live life with sparkle.
Just look for the glass bottles with tiny bubbles wrapped in blue.
And you'll taste and feel the difference of Mineragua sparkling water.
Mineragua, get your fizz.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go to Georgia, where an Atlanta firm starts a toilet paper drive-thru, giving rolls away for free. By the way, there is no shortage of toilet paper, actually. It's just keeping the shelves stocked is the hard part, you see. Kansas governor orders public schools closed for the remainder of the year. The feds push the tax payment deadline ahead, but you'll still take it in the rear. And a troop of monkeys battle another in Thailand. Thousands of monkeys. Monkey fights. Time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
Our top story. We go to Spain, where a man attempted to walk about the city unrestricted. The country's residents have been banned from going outside other than to buy food, go to work, or get medical help for the next 2 weeks. Despite this, the man left his home to dispose of the trash while wearing a T-Rex costume.
Of course.
Video posted online shows that the man didn't get far before being approached by an officer who gave him a warning and sent him back to his home.
But it almost explains itself. Like, who'd be crazy enough to... okay, that guy.
A guy dumb enough to buy that really popular T-Rex costume just to walk around like a tool. Moving on. In other news, speaking of not helping the situation, North Korea has come forward and claimed something that's quite frankly impossible. They're claiming that they have no cases of COVID-19 within their borders and even champion that they've beaten the virus.
Oh, congratulations to North Korea.
Good work,
man,
North Korea.
Man. This is the same country where dear leader once did a slam dunk.
No, that's right.
They don't have the footage, but he assured everyone that he did a slam dunk.
He got all
and
the way
they all
up there.
stood up and politely
Back
clapped.
in the day, Kim Jong-il hit 10 holes in one round of golf.
Really?
Right, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Again.
dad did that.
They're spectacular people over there.
Yes, indeed.
Feats unknown.
It was putt-putt, but...
It says, however, experts claim that it's impossible for them not to have a single case, given that their neighbor to the north is the origin of the virus, but being as it is closed-off nation, they can say for sure that they do, in fact, have a case of the
Just
virus.
take them at their word.
Most believe the claim to be an attempt to draw attention away from the country's economy. I think it's just because they just go ahead and say whatever the hell they want to say.
Hey, remember us? Go ahead.
The federal government is putting an extension on people's taxes that they owe for the 2019 year. The Treasury Secretary has come forward and announced that for individuals and businesses that owe less than $10 million to the government, come April 15th, they will be given a 90-day extension due to the virus. As for refunds, he said that they will continue to be issued.
Okay.
So you get 90 more days.
All right.
Good times.
But is that like, when you did something really bad and they say, wait till your father gets home? It's your taxes, man. If it's going to be a bad deal, do I want to wait another night?
You'll still owe us money. It's just going to be a little late.
That's right. And they did say that, like, hey, if you've got the money, please go ahead and just pay it right on time. I understand that there's now a reason to go ahead and pay it 90 days late. Man, pay it on time, please. So, that's... They got a lot of refunds that they're issuing here. A lot of schools have been closed for extended periods over the last couple of weeks, but Kansas has just taken the next step. The governor just announced that the public schools will now be canceled for the remainder of the school year, and classes will be held for the remainder of the
Listen, I don't see if Kansas. Kansas just got the news, ladies and gentlemen.
Piped in. Oy.
All of the Chiefs' kids from the Super Bowl winning team.
Right, in Kansas.
Yeah, in Kansas.
Good work, Miles.
Yeah.
We'll go to Atlanta, where a local marketing firm is attempting to help fight the toilet paper shortage. They offered up their stock of rolls from their building for free in probably the first ever toilet paper drive-through. Those that need rolls, of which they had about 20, could drive by their pop-up location and get a fresh roll tossed into an open window to limit contact between parties. Basically, they were like, you know what? We're not open for business anyway. Let's just go ahead and take all this toilet paper, say that we got it, roll on by, and they just toss it in like a football.
Yeah, you just take the window, roll it down, and shoot the toilet paper like you would paper towels.
There you go.
It's like Papa Shop.
It works. Everybody gets what they need. Speaking of the toilet paper shortage, experts are coming forward to reassure the public that there is, in fact, no shortage. So be aware of that. There is no toilet paper shortage or drought.
Nonetheless, I think people understand there is no shortage. They just can't get the access. And in the end, and I cannot repeat this enough, people really want to wipe their ass.
They do.
I mean,
and I get
that's
that.
what it comes down to.
Well, they're playing all their games at home now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, normally you could use the office or whatever.
Yeah.
You can play some away games. These are all home games.
Maybe figure out what's in your diet, man. Try to curb that just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We just want action. We know the toilet paper's there.
Right.
We can't get to it.
So Procter & Gamble have said that they are shipping record high levels of toilet paper throughout the nation.
Well, yeah.
But the biggest challenge they're facing is just keeping the shelves stocked. Make no mistake, they've got plenty of product that they're shipping out at an elevated rate, but it's still just taking time to get it to the shelves, and then the shelf life isn't too terrible long for those.
They should just do airdrops.
Just airdrops?
Just airdrops, Just drones flying from the neighborhood, just dropping toilet paper out of the sky.
Then we're going to have people that are shooting them drones out of the sky.
I got all the toilet paper. That's why my ass for 27 months. Son of a bitch with 3 itchy butts.
Another interesting side effect of the virus has shown itself in India. Multiple people witnessed a brawl involving upwards of 1,000 monkeys.
See, no. Now things are crazy.
Now they're going nuts because the monkeys are in India.
Right. But they're having street fights. It's 1,000 monkeys.
Usually these animals are spending their... Usually these animals are spending their days tooling around and dropping in on locals and tourists, and a lot of them have been feeding themselves with scraps of foods that have either been left behind or, quite frankly, stolen. Due to the lack of people moving about, the monkeys are actually in a period of starvation that has created this aggressive blow.
Oh, it's about to get crazy over there.
So, yeah, now it's actually becoming kind of a survival of the fittest sort of situation.
Man, if those monkeys start looking in the windows, bro, I'm telling you, that is right. Listen to me. That is not a place you want to be.
Arm yourself.
That's a different level, man.
Yeah, that's in Thailand.
That is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hogg is out.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. All right, if you're a business and you're still in operation, you need a shout-out, send those emails to the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. We'll try to drive some business your way. The complete list we have so far is at mensroomlive.com.
In the meantime, do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
Dad, I've actually found learning at home has been better than I thought. And I feel I'm much further ahead than many of my friends.
Visit laurelsprings.com to learn more about a unique way of getting your child the personalized education they need. For 30 years, Laurel Springs School has been engaging global learners in grades kindergarten through 12th grade and integrating their passions and pursuits. Laurel Springs School. We build an education around you.